I get settled in, and so, all the rest of the guys show up today. So I'm excited. Every year is a different year. New players, new coaches, all that kind of stuff always happens here in this league, and this year is the same.
What's your biggest reason for optimism, heading into this season?
I'm optimistic every year. I know the work that I put in. I know the work that my teammates put in. Our coaching staff put in the off season. I know it's not going to falter now. It's going to probably just even get ramped up even more. So you can look around and see the guys working next to you and the talent next to you, and feel pretty good about it.
This is your second coaching change since you got in the league. Were there any lessons learned that you learned, or something you need to do as a player from the last time there was a coaching change to that first year gap?
I think anytime there's change, you have to learn to adapt. Each person is a different person. Each coach that we've had in here is a different person. They like to run the system a different way. As a player, as a leader of the team, it's on me to adapt to that and get us going in the right direction as soon as possible. And Coach Patricia is no different. He and I have great dialogue and talk quite a bit. So, I'm just doing everything I can to lead these guys in the right direction.
How is that communication with you and Patricia, or you and Jim Bob Cooter?
See him every day. Talk to him every day. And especially this time of year during training camp. I mean, we're here, long days every day. So there's a ton of time to talk about all sorts of different things and get to know each other as well as we can.
Matthew, how have you seen technology change in the game, whether it's how you're watching cut-ups when you're home on an iPad, or different video looks that you get? How has technology and gadgets changed just in your career?
A ton. I'm probably not the first guy to ask about that kind of stuff. I'm not great with technology, but there's enough smart people around here to help me figure it out. But it's pretty incredible. There's virtual reality stuff that's sweeping across the league. There's we used to get handed a DVD to go pop in your DVD player on your TV at home, and now it's all just shot to you on the Wi-Fi or whatever, and you're able to watch whatever. Coaches can, push cut-ups and plays, whatever they need to you in an instant. So I know it's made probably coaches' lives easier as well, being able to make those cut-ups quicker, and as the technology gets better, and obviously the quality of the tape and the ability to make those cut-ups has helped the players as well.
Are you using virtual reality stuff, and is that new for you to
not a ton. Not a ton. I don't have anything on my helmet or anything strapped into it. I don't know all of the different ways that people can use them. I've tried those goggle things once. We don't have those, but no. I mean, I think there's benefit to it for sure for people that maybe don't get a ton of reps to go out there and find a way to get a rep without running around.
Matthew, what's easier for you now versus maybe 3-4 years ago?
I don't know. I think just experience in this league, obviously, you're comfortable with the way training camp is going to go and the way the preseason is going to go, and you know what regular season's all about, just those experiences. But, there's probably a couple of things that are harder too, just getting up and moving around and doing all that is more difficult as you play more years. But I don't know. That's a good question. I think none of it's easy. I'm always trying to, find a way to be better, and I don't see myself as a finished product really ever.
Yeah, you say some things that are harder now. I mean, do you feel it more now? Like, I know obviously you started yet, but is that like even in May and June, were you like waking up the next day like, ooh, wait, I feel that in 26?
I don't. Obviously, I came into this league, I was 21 years old, and I felt pretty good most days. But 30 now, it's not. I don't feel bad, but it's different. A little bit of a new normal. But no, I feel as good as I felt coming into a camp in a long time. I feel really healthy and ready to go.
This might be more mental than anything. Do you learn what's important, what to focus on, and not waste your time on things that aren't so important?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you develop a little bit of a routine, and you understand what works for you and what doesn't. And not to say that you can't tweak that routine every year and find, hey, it's part of the evaluation process in the spring, and is finding what you need to work on, what works for you, what didn't work for you, and tinkering it. But for the most part, having a game plan going into a season, and understanding what you're going to do in training camp, what you're going to do in the preseason and the regular season, kind of, helps you focus on maybe some other things that you need to focus on as well.
So if If you're not a finished product, how does one get better in year 10? Because that's something, a lot of people may just look at it like, you see improvements early on in your career. I'm sure they're more minute now. So what are you focused on, and how do you get better in year 10?
Yeah, I think every year you just you go back and kind of go through your game with a fine-tooth comb and just pick out one little thing here. And hey, I was working on this going into last year. Did I get better at it? Did I not? Do I still need to work on it even more to get? You're trying to create as good a habits as you can possibly do. Our game is so reactionary. You can't think about a lot of the stuff that you're doing out there. It's got to be good habits and good reactions. And the more times that you can put yourself in those situations in the practice field, it's going to translate to the game. And that's all I do is just try to put a ton of hard work in and make sure that we're playing on Sundays and I'm doing the right thing.
Give us one example, just specifically of something that you are trying to get better at or have gotten better at.
I think I'm always trying to clean up, footwork and stuff in the pocket, and that's something that I've worked on for years, and I feel like I'm getting better at, and I feel like I can continue to get better at. That's one example for you.
Another side of that might be the people you work with, too. I mean, the players like Theo and Amir and Jones and Golden, you sort of know those guys
Yeah.
now. How does that translate into production and efficiency, just sort of knowing where they're going to be?
Yeah, obviously having familiarity with players on your team helps. But at the same time, we got to put the work in. Just because we had a good year throwing the ball last year or a guy had a great season, running the ball or whatever it is, doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And we understand that. You're in this business long enough, you understand that year to year you got to prove it. And we got a bunch of really competitive guys that'll work extremely hard to go out there and prove it.
When a new head coach comes in and a lot of a new staff, do you get almost invigorated with new ideas? Your eyes get open to different ways of things, or is it not that dramatic of a difference?
No, there's definitely different philosophies, different ideas floating around, and there's compromise. You know what I mean? Everybody's got to kind of make it work. Like I said, we have new personalities coming into into the building, into every room, really. So we just got to come together as fast as we can and go.
The pads come on this week, and obviously you'll still be in that red jersey. But what benefit do you get from maybe the guys in front of you having pads, seeing how things develop from that, I guess, perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's real football. The only thing is like you said, I'm not getting hit, but just windows to throw the ball into, seeing between linemen, how a pocket is really going to hold up or it isn't. Just with you don't have pads on, it's tough. It's tough for the guys on defense, tough for the guys on offense. They're not going to bull rush each other and all that kind of stuff without pads on. So that's part of it. And then really on the outside too, receivers, you don't have pads on, those DBs, it's hard for them to jam you. But you put the pads on, it's real now, and it's real football. It's what it's all about.
Every year you come in, it's been 10 now. Everybody's 1991 haven't won a playoff game. And I know it's a tree you got to chop to get to a playoff game to win it. But you as a player that's been here now probably longer than anybody else as a player, and you hear that every year and every year and every year and year. How do you approach that, to chop that tree?
For me, I just try to put the work in. I can't look behind. I can't look at what happened then or what happened even last year. I've got to understand that, like I said earlier, this is a prove-it league. You got to do it every year and really every week, and then it boils down to every day. I mean, it's cliche, but it is what it is. It's true. It's what the guys that have been playing this game for a long time understand is that every rep counts, every day counts, every week and every game. I mean, it's important stuff. So I just try to take it, day by day and work as hard as I possibly can to be as good a player as I can be and as good a leader as I can be. So this team will, do everything it needs to do.
Do you think you guys have a pretty good pulse on this city and why so much is expected of you guys, even outside your locker room, to rebuild with the Red Wings and the Tigers and the Pistons disappointing? Can you understand why people have such optimism with your team, and how do you guys take that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the majority of guys in this locker room have been playing football for a long time at big-time programs and understand expectations. But at the same time, nobody's got higher expectations than we do in our locker room. We hold each other accountable to being a really good football team and doing things the right way all the time. So all that outside stuff doesn't really, get to us. We really don't talk about it, don't hear it. We just come into work every day with that mindset to go get better, and that's what we're trying to do.
Hey, Matthew, you were asked about the playoffs and not winning playoff. What about yourself personally? Does that grind you? Does that motivate you? Maybe not daily, but just does it pop in your head that perception is that this team can't win a playoff game, or that you guys haven't, or that you haven't?
I don't. I kind of. There's that mindset to go out there and work to prove people wrong and all that kind of stuff. I just want to prove myself right. That I put this work in for a reason. I'm not doing it to prove anybody else wrong. I'm doing it to prove myself right and understand that what I do is for the betterment of this team and this organization, and that's kind of the positive spin on that I go for. And it works for me. So.
Did you work with Tom House?
Thanks, Steph.
order all to put you on the page?
It's almost here, man. It's almost here. That's what I've been saying this whole break, this whole little time off after OTAs and everything like that. Everybody's been asking me, how you feeling, what's going through your head, and just been saying, man, I'm itching every single day, and it's getting closer and closer. So it's got to stay the course, it'll be here before you know it.
How are you going to be able to be a leader on this team differently than you maybe attempted to be a leader?
Just constantly pushing myself in every phase, not only just, football, but in the film room, in the locker room, in life in general. If you want to be a leader, if you want to lead men, you got to devote yourself to that fully, completely. There can't be any loopholes, can't be any areas in your life where you lack, because, if you have something that comes up, in a game, in a room of men, they're going to find weaknesses. Everybody's looking for a weakness. In the game we play, we're looking for weaknesses. So if there's a guy across from me and, he's supposedly the best guy on the team, he's leading that team. If I see a weakness, I'm going to attack it and I'm going to exploit it. So just basically as myself, carrying myself every single day, I got to make sure that I hold myself to a different standard.
You're a passionate guy. I think we all know, football means a lot to you. But can you just put into words, why you've had that itch to come back, why you're so anxious and excited about this season?
Honestly, man, my dad, he put it in me a long time ago, and the number one rule he told me, well, the number two rule, because the number one rule is the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. But the number two rule is you get out what you put in, So every single day I work, I put time in, put energy in, put effort in, make sure I'm trying to hit a new ceiling, a new height, and just make myself better, not just for me, but for my teammates, because if we're all out here, if they're out there doing their work, doing their job, working, I got to be doing the same thing. I got to make sure I deliver for them, and I got to be able to deliver until the last whistle blows. So I got to make sure that I can do that.
Speaking of golden rules, Al Golden was here doing coaches' interviews this morning, and he's talking about the linebackers. He said it starts with JD. And he also talked about how you got here in February after Patricia was hired, just to talk to him about what you need to do to get better. Could you explain how that feels and why you did that so soon?
I mean, it's definitely, an honor to be, I guess, seen in that light. But, I love this game, man. I love it. And honestly, no matter who I was playing for, if it was just me doing it for me, I'm going to give everything I have. So, just the way we operate around here, the way we carry ourselves, I want to make sure that I'm giving every little bit of effort that I have to the team and to the coaches. They're here putting in time every single day, every single night, and who would I be to come in here and say, I don't feel like doing it today. They come in here every day and they get it done, so I got to do the same for them.
Do you feel like it's a big jump between your first year pro and second year pro, as maybe from going from college to pro? You know how you have that gap.
Yeah.
Is it a big gap from 1 year to two as a pro?
I don't know if I would say it's a bigger gap, but I would say it's just a different gap. I mean, it may be the same size, maybe a little bit smaller, but it's just different. Like, there's things that you have to deal with from college to the pro. You're basically becoming a kid to a man. You have to grow up overnight. You have to. You have to learn how to be responsible with your money. You have to be responsible with your time. You have to be responsible with your effort and your energy and where you put that at and how you prioritize things from college to pro. From year one to year two, you kind of know what you have to do, but now you have to fine-tune every little aspect that you had to transition into, everything that you had to change from college to pro. Now you have to fine-tune those things and make them better and turn it up a little bit here, turn it up a little bit here, and make sure that different things that you're doing are making you a better player.
Isn't there an advantage that you're targeting your play for a specific team as opposed to for the draft? You don't know where you're going to be all those months you're working out for the combine, isn't that?
Most definitely. It's more personalized. It's not as generic. I'm trying to be a better linebacker. I don't know really what scheme I'm going to fall into, but now I know what scheme I'm in. I've worked on it during OTAs. I know how to train when I'm back home. I know what drills I need to do, what's going to translate to the scheme, what's going to translate to the field better than just doing these regular drills. It's different.
Jarrad, we've heard players in various off seasons change their workout habits, change what they do to get ready for the next season. How did you change at this time this year compared to last?
I mean, honestly, I really don't know. I mean, I just went out every day and said, hey, I got a goal I'm trying to reach, and for me, when I train, I kind of look for a feeling, and it's like you kind of chase that feeling that you have in a game. If you're down, it's late in the game, you're tired, you're drained, and then now you got to work. You got to work once you get that feeling. And every time you feel that, it's going to be later and later in the training session. So once you hit that point, then that's where you're bumping up that ceiling. So that's why I kind of chase when I train.
You took your time off, though, right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, had to. Yeah.
What kind of sense do you have, conceptually, big picture of what this defense looks like or is now as opposed to maybe even back in April? And I guess, are you still a little curious as to how it's going to look when it's Raiders, Giants, and camp, those kind of things?
Most definitely. I mean, going against our team, it's kind of you're kind of in a comfort zone. You kind of have that security blanket a little bit, but it's flying bullets. But it's going to be a lot different when we're going against another team and you see a different formation that you haven't seen. There's a different, way that offense carries himself. So it's going to kind of change the mode of the defense a little bit. But it's really cool to be able to, like, over the break, just looking at the scheme, looking at the different things that we did during OTAs on tape and kind of, seeing, like, okay, now it's clear. It's easier for me to see, like, okay, this is where we messed up here on this play. This is where we messed up here on this play. So this is how we can fix it. This will make this better. This will make this better. And then going back and watching games last year and just seeing, like, okay, offenses like to do this. They like to do this. Oh, this is why we have this play in the playbook. This is why we do this on this play. This is why we have this check. It's like just seeing different things like that. It helps out a lot,
Jarrad, what do you make of the NFL and the NFLPA deciding to freeze the anthem rules to try to figure out something tenable for you guys?
This is the first I've heard of it. All break, I haven't really been on social media. Haven't looked at anything with the news, so I don't really know what's going on with it. So I can't really say much about it, to be honest.
The last time we talked to Al Gold, he talked about the need for you guys to be problem solvers in this defense as opposed to being at point A to point B. It's about processing in real time.
Yeah.
How is that different than maybe what you've done before? Or how does your skill set fit into the mental processing on the fly?
I mean, it just allows you to be open as a player and allows you to do multiple things and really confuse offenses, confuse quarterbacks. There'll be a pressure that we have, and we'll dress it up this way 3 times in a row, and then that 4th time we'll hit it a different way, and the 5th time we'll hit it a different way. We'll come back to the way we did it the first 3 times on the 6th time. So it's being able to have that flexibility and that range as a player. It allows you to, I guess, feel more, you have more ownership of it, because now it's like, hey, I want to do it like this, or not it's we want to do it like this. We want to make it look like this. This is going to do this, and this is going to free somebody else up. So it's just being able to get that give and take, that push and pull mentality on the defense, and just really knowing that, hey, this is going to hit like this, and then the next time we come back, we're going to dress it up and we're going to make it hit like this. It's fun. It makes it a lot funner being able to have that freedom to do it,
Do you think there's a good back and forth between the players and coaching staff in determining what you guys like to do and how you like to do it in crafting this defense?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And they give us freedom. It's like I said, it's all about ownership. When we're out there, we got to make sure that we make it ours. They're not saying, oh, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. It's what we want to do, and when you do it, you got to commit to it fully. So the coach trusts you, your teammates trust you, and ultimately you trust yourself.
What did you learn about Matt Patricia during the offseason, and how much of a difference can a coach be, do you think, in the NFL?
I mean, he can be a huge difference. The way he came in, honestly, just set the tone right away. He came in, he laid down the law, he gave us the rules, and he came in with energy. He wasn't saying that, oh, this is how it's going to be, Like, he came in, he made it clear, gave us the expectations, and now we have something we can chase. So every single day we're trying to hit that mark, and if we don't hit that mark, we know we got to come back the next day and put in the extra work to make sure that we get where we need to be. So it's awesome having a coach like him, and I'm excited to be able to play for him this year.
Jarrad, how challenging has it been to you switching schemes, specifically since this is only your 2nd year? You're the guy in the middle that's got to get guys in the right spot and alignment and everything. How challenging has that been to you?
I mean, every day it's a pretty big challenge, but honestly, it's something that gets me going every single day too. It's just having that coming in, knowing what I got to attack, knowing what I got to chase. It makes it fun to come in here every single day. It never gets boring. It's never going to be boring. It's because there's so much that we can do on this defense there's so many ways we can make it look. There's so many things that we can do at the snap of the ball. So it's honestly exciting every single day I walk in.
Hey, just to clarify, you said the expectations that he set, something for you to chase. What are those expectations? What did he set?
I mean, it's just, I don't really know. I don't want to get into it right now. But it's just, it's really big stuff. And to be honest, it makes the game that much funner.
Thanks, Jarrad.
Thanks, guys.